Hey everybody, we have baby Australian Labradoodle puppies. In this video, we're going to tell you all about these little mini Australian Labradoodle puppies, and you can find out, did they meet their first milestone or did they fall short? We'll also tell you all about Mama Labradoodle Belle, what she's up to, and what kind of mothering she's doing with these little puppies. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Labradoodles, and these three little mini Australian Labradoodle puppies are from our Belle of the Ball litter, and they're a week old. So we are celebrating that today in this video. So what we're looking for in this first week from the puppies is for them to hopefully double their birth weight. Normally we're quite happy if we have to wait until day 10 for that to happen, but if the puppies double their birth weight in the first 7 days, wow, we're really happy, and we know that our Mama Labradoodle is doing a fabulous job. So Mama Labradoodle Belle, you can tell she likes to keep her family small, but very high quality. She's just a very exclusive kind of girl. She had only 2 puppies in her first litter, and now we're at 3. So maybe next time we'll get to 4. Normally the average size for a litter of Labradoodle puppies is closer to 6. But Belle likes to keep things simple. She likes to make sure she has lots of time and energy to devote to her puppies, so she keeps it small, and that's just fine. And if you'll look at these little Labradoodles, you'll see that, well, one advantage of having a small number of puppies is you get a lot of access to the milk bar. In particular, if you look at Pink Collar Girl here, look at the spread on this puppy. Oh my goodness. These are starting to remind me of our last litter, which was the Bee's Knees litter, where the puppies were so chunky. Oh my goodness. These are juicy puppies full of lots of nutritious milk from Belle's milk bar. You can see that she's also a very attentive mom. Right now she's cleaning up there on dark blue collar. So what happens with puppies in their first week? So when they're very first born, as you saw in the birth announcement, these puppies are very fragile, they're very small, they really didn't do very much. Now of course, remember, when puppies are first born, they can't see, they can't hear, and they can't go to the bathroom by themselves. So when you see Belle doing this right now, where she's licking their bums and looks like she's cleaning their bums, she is cleaning them, but what she's doing is stimulating them to go to the bathroom, because they're not able to do that on their own quite yet. Their eyes are sealed shut at this age because their neurological system is not developed enough for their brain to be able to process what their eyes would be seeing. So that's why puppies are born with their eyes sealed shut. Their ears are sealed shut for the same reason. It's just too many things for their system to deal with at this young age. So all of the external stimuli is removed from them, and all they have is their sense of smell. And their sense of smell is what directs them over to mom. And their sense of smell is what we start working on right away to have the puppies bond with us and become familiar with who we are and what we smell like. And the puppies also have in their noses little heat sensors. So they're able to locate with their noses where Belle's body heat is. So if we happen to come in and let's say we have a puppy, we'll just use Pink Collar Girl as an example, and she's over here and she's away from the puppies and she's going to try and find her mom. The Belle's going to cheat and show her what she's going to do, and you can see right away she's starting to put her nose forward. She can sense the heat from me, and that's where she's going to go. She's going to move directly toward me because that's the source of heat. She's not able to differentiate that I am not a milk bar. She just knows that's where there's warmth and that's where she needs to be. So when the puppies are separated from each other, they will be able to find one another if Belle's not in the box with them. And if they're away from Belle, that's how they find Belle. And that's one of the reasons we use a nice small whelping box. We want to make sure that there's not too far for them to go, because despite having this really great navigation system, they can start spinning around in a circle. It's usually counterclockwise. and they will get confused and they won't be able to find their way back. So we want to make sure they're in a fairly small spot so that when they do wander away, if they wander away, they'll be able to get back without too much trouble. So right now, what the puppies do, their day consists of eating, sleeping, and repeating. That's it. Their only job is to be growing. And as you can see, everybody is growing beautifully. And we'll go through their weights in a little bit and we'll see if they did hit that target milestone. And why is it important for them to double their weight in the first week to 10 days? Well, that's how we know they're thriving. We don't want puppies to be thin. We don't want them to be so cold that they have to use all of their energy to keep themselves warm. We don't want them to be nursing from a milk bar that's not well nourished itself, so that what they're getting doesn't provide them with sufficient energy and calories in order for them to keep growing. Because we want them to grow and develop, because in 8 weeks, these puppies are going home with their families. So there's a whole lot that happens in a very short period of time. So it's important that that weight gain is quite rapid, especially in the first few weeks. Now for Mama Belle, what she's doing is she's mostly also just hanging out here in the whelping box. She's cleaning them as you saw her doing. She's nursing them and she's eating. And she goes out, but she only comes out of the whelping box about 4 or 5 times a day to go to the bathroom. She comes out and she will look around at the other dogs. She'll walk around through the house. She won't go through the whole house, just in the immediate vicinity outside of her whelping room. She'll say hi and then she'll quickly come back in. And if anyone of the other dogs is anywhere near her whelping room, she's right out there. She will growl, she'll bark, and she'll make sure everyone knows, hey, hands off, back away, don't get near my babies. So the important things for Belle right now is that we spend time with her so she has some company, because it's kind of boring and lonesome being in here with 3 puppies who can't do anything really, and can't see and can't hear. So just sitting around all day nursing puppies and cleaning up after them, I can imagine would be fairly tedious. So we do come in and spend quite a bit of time with her. Belle also makes sure we do that by not eating unless someone's with her. All I have to do is hold the dish for her. Occasionally I put it in my hand for her to eat out of my hand, but mostly she just wants me to sit beside her, have the bowl on my lap or in my hand, and then she happily eats it. That's her main responsibility right now, is eating well, so that there's lots of nutrition that she is having that is going in turn directly to the puppies through the milk bar. Now the things we do with Belle at this period of time is we're every day checking that milk bar. Because we only have 3 puppies, we are very much alive to the fact that not the whole milk bar is being utilized. So we want to make sure that nature is cooperating and not producing a whole lot of milk in these top mammary glands. The puppies are only nursing off the back ones because those are the bigger ones, so it's easier. So we just do a quick feel every day, and Belle thinks this is quite good because it's like having a tummy rub. We make sure there's no hard spots, there's nothing hot, nothing's going wrong, because what stimulates the milk to be produced is the puppies nursing. So when they're not nursing, then naturally the milk is not being produced. Sometimes, however, girls who are heavy milkers will still have quite a bit of production, and then that can be a problem. So we just check her, make sure everything is going well. And for Belle, you can see these mammary glands are pretty much looking the same as they would if she wasn't lactating. Whereas these ones back here, you can see these are definitely the favorites, and you can see they're being used a lot. And see, even this one is not very big. So it's really these 3 are the ones that the puppies use, and they each have their favorite. They'll go from to different ones, but they do have their favorite. Actually, there's these 3 here are the ones they use. This one is sort of an off and on one. But we also make sure there's no hard lumps or bumps down here. Nothing's going on. Everything's good. And we make sure, of course, that she's going to the bathroom properly, no problems there, and that she's drinking lots of water, because you need lots of water to make milk. You need to really be hydrated. And that's one of the really big bonuses of feeding all of our dogs a raw dog food diet. There's way more moisture that occurs occurs naturally in that food that the girls are absorbing in their body. Whereas if you eat kibble, you need to drink copious amounts of water in order to be able to have the food processed within the dog's body. Now for the puppies, what do we do with them each day? Well, what we do is we handle them. So the first thing we do when we're handling them is we let them know that we're here. We don't just come in and pick them up because they have no idea that we are here. They can't see, they can't hear. So we just put a little hand on them. We go quite slowly underneath to pick them up. We make sure they're supported so they don't feel like they're hanging out in the air. And then what we do is we hold them up close to us and we let them just come and get our scent. Now Belle sometimes jumps up right away and sees what we're doing. Other times she just puts her head down like she is right now. And now even though they can't hear us when we're talking, there's a lot of vibration in the chest, so they get used to that sensation. Is we don't want to give them so many new things that it's too much for them. They get weighed every day, so they get picked up to have that happen every day. So that's quite an event for them. We also check their claws. They're pretty tiny right now. They're just little teensy things, and you wouldn't think that they could do any harm, but they're sharp and they can easily scratch mom. And if she gets a scratch on a mammary gland, it's very easy for an infection to set in, and that is not something we want. And the other thing we do with the puppies right now is early neurological stimulation. That's just a series of very short, very quick little exercises that give the puppies just a little something that wouldn't normally occur in their day. And the purpose of this is to have the puppies become accustomed to things happening that they don't expect with a good outcome. So it is believed that if you do this, you end up with a calmer puppy. If it's true, there's no scientific evidence that's concluded that. However, there's no scientific evidence that says it doesn't help. So I figure it doesn't hurt. We know that. So let's do what we can to help. And so what does that involve? It's just really taking the puppy, doing something very gentle with them, where we will hold them, say for instance, with their head down like that for 3 seconds. That's all we do. We'll also take them, we'll put them upside down in our hands, make sure they're relaxed, that they let us rub their tummy, and you see how immediately he's putting his legs down. And then we also will hold them like this. A little later on, we'll put a wet paper towel down for them to have a different surface on them. They're not quite old enough to go through that yet. Oh my goodness, look at that big yawn. Oh, that was exhausting. So that's what we do with the puppies to help them and to help you get a nice calm puppy. So now let's see, did they meet that milestone? So we have a very special program that was developed for us. It's a software program. It's on my phone, and it tracks the weight of the puppies. We measure them in grams because grams are far more precise than if you use ounces or pounds. 1 gram is a very, very small amount of weight. And if you have a puppy who's not doing well, you want to be able to measure that weight very specifically. We weigh the puppies not just to see at the end of the week if they did meet their milestone, but to tell us if something's not going right. If we have a puppy who's consistently gaining, let's say 20 grams every day, and one day that puppy has only gained 8 grams, we're going to start doing a little bit more investigation and see what's going on with that puppy. We're going to want to check and be right on top of things, because a puppy this young can get sick very quickly, can go downhill very rapidly, and they can try really hard to die. They can really do that rapidly. So you need to be right on top of things as their breeder. You want to always be checking them. So we weigh them at the same time every day, otherwise we would get all sorts of inconsistent results. As if I weighed these puppies in the morning today, they might weigh 100 grams, say, and then I didn't weigh them tomorrow morning, I waited until 10 o'clock at night, they could easily have gone up a huge amount. And then the next day, if I weighed them in the morning, they wouldn't have gained much at all. And I'd be thinking, wow, something's going wrong here. So it's very important that you weigh them at the same time. So my handy dandy little program that we had written for us, it automatically tracks their weights and it gives me a warning if their weight is not being gained consistently or if they're not meeting their target weights. So on day 10, if they haven't doubled their weight, I will get a big red alert. Now with these puppies, you'll be surprised at what their weights are today. So we're going to do the puppies in birth order. That's how we always do our puppies, to be fair. And so the firstborn in this litter is our handsome black collar boy here. Now Mr. Handsome Black Collar Boy, when he was born, I said that he was a black party, and a black party is a puppy who has 50% white and 50% black, and the black comes in various little circles throughout his body. And you can see he has beautiful symmetry on his face. He has black that is completely even on either side of his face. Plus, he has this little black teardrop on the top of his face. Now, right now he has a pink nose, but that's going to fill in over time, and he's going to end up where his nose will be black. Now, this puppy is not just a party. This puppy is a phantom, just like Bowie. But he's going to present that a little differently because he's got all this white here. So that is taking over from the phantom color. But if you'll look at his ear here, which is very conveniently flopped over, you'll see all those phantom markings there. And at the side of his face, right here, you can also see the phantom markings. And if he'll share his little bum with us, you can see the phantom markings underneath there. So he's a tri. Then that means he is a full phantom and a party. So that's what this little black and white guy is. And his weight today is 427 grams. He has far surpassed doubling his birth weight. So no problem there with puppy number 1. That's Mr. Black Collar Boy. Next, we have Dark Blue Collar Boy. You'll notice the puppies do not have their collars on. I put ID collars on the puppies so we know who's who. When we have 3 and all 3 of them are completely different, we don't need the ID collars. So we don't bother putting them on because they can be annoying to them. Sometimes they can get their foot caught in them. So we just don't bother with those when we can tell everybody apart. So here we have Mr. Dark Blue Collar Boy. Oh, and he has such a big yawn again. You had a yawn from me before. This little guy is a chocolate, and he's a chocolate sable. That's what Belle is. They look quite different. Belle is almost all white. She has a little bit of color in her ears, but you can't see it very much. Apparently she has an itchy ear right now too. So basically she's an all white dog, but genetically she is a chocolate party. Or a chocolate sable rather. And that's what this little guy is too. And look at his very pretty markings there, if Belle will let us see them. Hey, yeah, especially on his tail. Really pretty, unique color. The color on his body is different than the color on his face and his ears. And that will be the case throughout his life, where his ears will always be a little bit darker. And he has a little smidge of pretty little white that's gone into his chocolate there on that ear. This puppy, he looks like he has a ton of white on his face right now. When he grows up, that will change because this white will not be as predominant as the color on either side. This is going to be one handsome guy. Hello, sweetheart. And Mr. Dark Blue Collar is 478 grams. So he too is just right in there at doubling his birth weight. So way to go, Belle. Way to go, Dark Blue Collar Boy. And then our one and only girl in the litter is Pink Collar Girl here. And when she was born, we just called her a red dog because we didn't know if she was going to be a caramel or if she was going to be a red dog. So she is a red caramel girl. And the way we can tell that is by the nose color. And although her nose right now is still pink, you can see here, you can see on the pads of her feet, those are brown. They are not black. Now, I've been fooled before. Sometimes those pads have looked brown and they've ended up being black. But I don't see any black on her lips or anything, which would make me think that she's going to be a red dog. So she's going to be a red caramel girl. Whatever she is, she's the cutest little thing. She's got these little white tips on her toes. She got her tiny little white little splash on her head, which is just like Papa Booey. And then she's got this nice white on her chest here to show everybody. White on the back feet as well. And then a teeny little tip of white at the end of her tail. And this little lady was the last born puppy in the litter. She now weighs 491 grams. If you look at this little gal, look at how wide she is. Oh my goodness, we need the wide load sign for this one. This is a chunky puppy. She is solid. She is a really good eater, so she has easily more than doubled her birth weight. Yes, I love you too. That's a good girl, Belle. So that is all the puppies. That's all their news for this first week. So now what's going to happen in week 2? Well, this is actually quite an exciting time because at the end of week 2, it's quite likely eyes will be open. And because we're human and we do so much with our eyes, that's how we communicate, how all of our information comes to us really is through our eyes. When the puppy's eyes open, it changes everything from a human perspective. We feel like we get to know them and that we can see who they are a bit better. So it's always just the most fun time. It's really just great to be able to get to know them and have them start to recognize our shape. So next week, we will be back with another update. We will give you same information like we did today, except for we'll tell you what they have done in the week coming up, and we'll see who maybe has some open eyes to share with us. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to post them in the comments below. I'm always happy to talk about Labradoodles, help you out with any questions you may have. And if you have a sec, please give us a thumbs up. It really means a lot to us. And thanks so much for watching, and we hope we see you back next week. She's a good girl. Oh, it's a beautiful baby.